Hey, good afternoon everybody. Just gonna do a pretty quick video on how to fletch your own arrows. If you watched my previous video before this on the review of the Bohning jig, I explained to you why I had to fletch my own arrows this year. Wasn't really an option because the company I bought from sends them all in separate pieces, so assembly is required. And the bow shop I went to, have been going to, they do not do it anymore. So first thing for fletching, I just like to explain why I'm going to do this first step. Alright, this is a pretty smooth surface. Alright, same thing with the rubber of the fletchings. Alright, pretty smooth surface. Alright, so one thing you can do to get the glue to bond better is scuff up one of the surfaces. Since we can't scuff up the rubber, alright, we go ahead and scuff up the carbon. Alright, to do that, I have a file here. Alright, pretty simple file. Alright, you're not trying to cut deep in here, you're just trying to go across the surface, rough it up a little bit, and then we'll go through with isopropyl alcohol, rub it all down, clean it up, make sure there's no carbon left on there before we actually glue these arrows on. Alright, now where am I going to use the file at is the question. Alright, so watch my previous video to show or to see where you actually need to align all this up at. But just for quick reference for this video, when I put my jig on here, we're flat flush against this. Alright, I already marked the magnet with where the fletching will fully sit. Alright, and I have already marked on the arrow those spots of which that fletching is gonna sit. Alright, so since I marked that up, I'm just gonna go ahead, pause the video real quick, go ahead, scuff it up, show it to you all scuffed up, and then show it to you whenever we get it cleaned up. Alright. Alright, so we got it all scuffed up. Might be a little hard to tell, but I hope you can see that. Alright, before we wipe it down with isopropyl alcohol, all I'm going to do is take a plain paper towel and try and get off as much of that carbon as possible. Alright, so we're just going to hold on to it, twist it through, try to clean it up a little bit before wiping it down with isopropyl alcohol. Alright, just to show you. Alright, quite a bit came off there already. Alright, gonna set that down. Gonna get my paper towel soaked with, not soaked, but just dabbed with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Alright, just like that, 2 little dabs from it. Gonna go ahead, put the arrow on there. Alright, and just kind of wipe it down. Alright. Once we do it in one place, it gets a little bit dirty. Alright, just move it over, do it in the next. Alright, until you can see almost no carbon coming off of there whenever you wipe it. Alright, a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. Flip it over, still got some wetness over here. Alright, pretty much got it all cleaned off. Go ahead and throw that paper towel away. Alright, and the next step is to just set it in the jig. Alright, first thing you want to do is make sure you're lined up with whatever you want to be on for this jig. Alright, there's a 4 there, there's a 3 O and a 3U. I forgot which each one of those means, but it says in the instructions. Alright, I have a 4 fletched arrow, so that is where mine is going to start. Alright, I went ahead and marked all of these. You might not be able to see it now, you may have seen it earlier with a gold line right there, and that's where I sort of lined up my lighted knock. That way every single arrow would be the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and press that into the jig, make sure it is fully seated. Alright. After making sure it is fully seated, I'm going to grab my clamp and put the fletching in there. Alright, that's why this is very important, to mark those lines on there so you can set your fletching up the same way every single time. After I know that's good, alright, you can go ahead and do this. I've already done 11 arrows, but just make sure you have a good, nice, flush mount of your fletching and your arrow before putting glue on it. After you know that is good, go ahead and grab your fletching glue, alright? Really, any super glue would probably work. Since I was already at the store and bought the fletching jig, I just figured to go ahead and buy the glue that was right next to it for like $6, alright? One thing I've learned after doing 11 of these, you do not want to put too much glue, alright? You got to wipe the excess off. So, we're going to squeeze it till we start seeing it come out. Alright, and just do a little bit, sort of dabbing all the way down. Alright, after we dab, we're just going to go ahead and smooth all that glue out. Make sure we got a good coverage on the entire fletching. That looks good. After that, always try to put this in down first against there. Let the magnet click into place. Alright. And then go ahead and slowly seat it back in down first, all the way to that front part. Alright, make sure we got a really good seat of our fletching. And I just sit here and I hold it for the 30-second cure time. You really shouldn't have to. Alright, once you push it down, it should be good. I'm just overly cautious about some of this stuff. So, after about 30 seconds, I will go ahead and let it go, and the first thing I'm going to do is just release that clamp off of that fletching. Alright, about 10 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, we're going to release that clamp. Go ahead and pull this up. Alright, first thing I like to do is wipe off my clamp so none of that glue adheres to it. Alright, after that's done, I'm going to rotate my arrow into the next position. Alright, go ahead and pull it off. And all I'm going to do is take a corner and just go quick, right? Otherwise your paper towel is going to stick. And wipe off as much of that excess glue as possible. Alright, try to not get any down there on the knock. Fold the paper towel over. Still got some on this side. Go ahead, wipe it away real quick. And that's our first fletching done. Alright, so after that, obviously I would put it back into the fletching jig the exact same way and repeat with the next 3 fletchings until all 4 of them are done. Alright, so once I have the final product, I will go ahead and talk to you guys again. Alright, cool. Now that that's done, alright, last little thing I'm going to do is put just a tiny dab of glue on the top and a tiny dab of glue on the back, alright, to try and help those corners stay seated. That way whenever it passes through an animal, through a target, whatever the case is, you still have a good, strong, secure bond there on the ends, so those ends don't get ripped up. Alright. Just the smallest amount. Flip it over, do the same thing. Go ahead and put our cap back on the glue. Alright, and last but not least, alright, to store this, all I'm going to do is lay the arrow on this exact table with the fletchings hanging off the end. Alright, you don't want to store this hanging up or hanging down. It gives the fletchings a possible chance that they might move or glue to drip down where you do not want glue to drip down. Alright, so as always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and learn how to do your own fletchings.